mental health issues, they're a silent pandemic. We hear about them, we talk about them, we probably even read about them, but how much do we really understand about them? Hoopsters presents The Beautiful Mind, which is our way of helping you simplify mental health through real life experiences and with some chats with experts. In our first series called If They Can, You Can, we explore the experiences of people who have overcome mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, addiction, etc. In just 20 questions, we take you through their experiences and the challenges they faced and how they overcame these issues. Our first speaker today is Dimpy, who is a well-known actress, model in the industry today, and she has a fabulous story to share with her about her fight through depression. And we are going to start with 20 questions now. All right. Hi, Dimpy. How are you?
Hi, Nupur. I'm doing very good. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you for giving us your time. So are you ready? We're going to do 20 questions, quick answers,
Absolutely.
And let's start.
Okay.
So what were the circumstances that led to your depression?
Well, there was a very crucial stage in my life where I had to choose between career and personal stuff, and I think confusion at that point of time, and I really didn't think that I had to choose any particular thing for me to go about in my life. So I think that confusion is what, and the fear of losing either things is what left me with this depression, so-called.
Okay. And what were your earliest symptoms?
Well, I remember getting extremely tearful for no reason. I mean, whatever the circumstance or the situation might be, I would just go and lock myself up in the room and I would cry for hours, and that's not me. So I knew that there was something more to this than, I didn't know what I was going through. So that was my earliest symptoms.
And when did you realize that, hey, maybe this is a problem and I need to do something about it?
When somebody brought it to my notice saying that, I think what you're going through is this, they sent me a particular link. And then obviously I looked through it and I read more about it online. Then I realized that, hey, I think that this is an issue that I need to deal with professional help. So I think that's when I got to know, because I didn't know something like that even existed before my symptoms.
Right. And during these early stages, did you ever think of, okay, let me see a counselor, let me seek some help?
Yes, of course. The moment it would have been like a month after it was brought to my notice. And I think then I realized that this is something that I need to get up, go out, although I didn't feel like at that point of time. I said I need to go out and get myself some professional help.
Right. And did you know about or anything at all about depression as a mental health condition back then?
Not at all. Initially, no, not at all. But then after I read through it, when I matched my symptoms with the mental illness, so-called, it was really, it came together, and I figured out that this is something that I think I have right now, and I need to definitely deal with it.
So can you recall when you heard of depression for the first time as a mental health condition? When did that thing come into your life?
As in recall, as in I didn't get like.
So when was the first time that it was brought to your attention that a condition like this exists?
So probably a month after I was dealing with it, and I was being extremely cheerful, and the sense of being completely lonely, in spite of being around like a lot of people. So I remember this when I used to go out and I used to do theater and stuff like that, right? So I used to go for rehearsals, or even during my shows, I used to be like perfectly fine, like smiling and, wear a mask, completely hold a facade about everything. But I used to
Right.
get, the moment I get back home, I'm back into my room, just crying for no reason again, crying all night, crying all morning, crying all day, and feeling extremely lonely, So I think a month after I dealt with this situation is when I got to know that, yes, this is something more than just me. I was thinking that this is me and this is just an emotional thing. This is a phase. I'll get through it. But yeah, I figured that out later.
And how did you find a counselor? How did you search for your counselor or
Well,
therapist?
yeah. So this was I just went online and I said counselors. I just Googled it,
Hmm.
and there was a person that came up before, and somehow I didn't feel the connect with that person, and
Right.
even though it was online, so I looked for the second person, and then I got her through online, and I connected with her, and yeah, I think I was very comfortable when I met her.
And were you comfortable telling people that, listen, I'm seeing a therapist, I'm seeing a counselor, or did you just keep it to yourself?
I kept it to myself, and the only person who knew about it is my
Hmm.
cousin sister. Is only because of the fact that my counselor told me that I had to tell her, because just in case, like, you are, I mean, obviously you are suicidal, so there was one person who should know about your whereabouts, and I found her to be the closest in my family, to me. So I
Hmm.
said I have to talk to her about it. So I said, hey, you know what? I have to tell you something, and that's when I told her. It's not that I really confided in anyone or told anyone anything. So,
And besides your therapist, did you have any other support system around you that helped you during this phase?
well, my first thing my counselor did was she put me onto a psychiatrist, and I went and
Hmm.
met her. And the psychiatrist obviously put me onto drugs, and but apart from that, I didn't really mention it to my family or friends. There was, except my cousin who knew, that I was just going and visiting a counselor. That's about it.
Okay. And how did counseling help you? What were the best things you learned during that time?
First, when I went to my counselor, I was really irritated with the fact that why isn't she saying anything? Why isn't she telling me what to do and what not to do? She just kept listening to me, and that really irritated me. And I kept wondering to myself, am I like just wasting my time and money over here? So, I mean, do I really need her? Because she's
Mm.
not saying anything. And over the period, I went to her for a year and a half, and over the period, I realized that she was not supposed to be saying anything, because I know if she would have said something, she would have asked me to do something, I would have done it. And I would have, retaliated or fallen back again, saying that, oh, what the heck, this is not what I want. This is what she's told me to do. So I was doing it,
Right.
But over the period, I realized that while I was speaking to her, I was listening to myself. And I found the solution to whatever my problems were that I was dealing with is something that only I can deal with. And she cannot say or do anything about it. But yeah, of course, there's certain things that she asked me to do. And I kept doing those particular things to continue with the counseling sessions. But apart from that, I think it's only you who can bring out the solution to your own
Right.
problems. Yeah, that is
Okay.
something that I've learned from her.
And what's your worst memory during this whole phase?
Of my worst memory was like not wanting to wake up.
Right.
Every single morning I wished that I wasn't alive, and that wasn't easy. I mean, you don't find a reason to live, and you're just so numb. and and I don't usually cry so much, but I was like, where did all those tears come from? I have no idea. And they were just insane. I mean, I really can't explain those feelings to you. So
And what were the first signs of recovery?
Well, at least so even like I told you before, right? So when even in the midst of 100 people, you'd still feel lonely out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then I realized that slowly as time goes by, that even by your own company, even just by sitting by yourself, you're not alone. you know you have yourself, and you
Right.
have your own company, and that was beautiful to discover such things. And of course my crying would just go away, and it was diminishing, and it would, you know yeah, but I guess that happened because of the medication. um
And what was there like that one moment where you decided, okay, I'm going to get up and I'm going to fight this? What was your motivation to say, okay, enough is enough?
yeah, because I am basically, if I look at myself, I'm an extremely optimistic person. I mean, if
Mm-hmm.
I can say that about myself. So um and to be in this mode was like devastating for me. For me it was like, this is not me. This is like complete opposite of me. I need to do something to get out of this rut, or this rubbish. And
Right.
God, I want my life back. I want to be this happy person that I once used to be. So that was I guess my motivation.
And what was your biggest challenge during this time?
um Challenge is, I think, where you have your social activities, and plus you have to go out. You're an artist, you have to meet people, and you still have to be like, nothing's bothering you, you're absolutely fine. And then you come back home, and you're down to the dumps. You
Right.
feel like you at one every morning you feel like you don't want to wake up, and then you have to get ready and go out and go about doing your work and stuff. And I mean, it's such a contrast. And I
Right.
was like, it was quite challenging at that point of time.
Is there one myth that people have that's going around about depression?
um I can think of a few. One is, definitely you don't have to have a reason to get depression. You don't have to necessarily have a sad situation for like to go into this sort of a mental illness. The other thing is, depression drugs can cure you. No, they won't. Um, and it's not that you get it out of, like if somebody had it in your family you get depression. I mean, there's no such thing. So I think these three things are most important: that drugs will not cure you, and it's not heredity, and neither is it does it come with any sad situation in your life. So
Right. And if you had to give it a picture, if you had to give depression a visual image, what would that be? If you had to like paint a picture for us.
yeah, it's visually very um, exciting. Because when you see something in a horror film, you have these dark images which fly across,
Right.
and it's blur, and then they go like zip, and there's like this confusion of what's happening. Who are they? Is it a demon? Is it just a shadow? What is this? Or is this just something, mind games that it's playing with your mind? Or it's that sort of an image that it's
Right.
dark. Yeah,
Right.
it's really dark.
And what is life like today?
Well, the happiest I've ever been.
I'm glad to hear that. And is there any
Thank
advice
you.
that you would give people who are probably dealing with the situation, especially considering the conditions today where they're stuck at home with
I
their
know.
own thoughts, with their own, like that space?
Right. So definitely, because this period isn't easy. It's definitely not. And if you're doing it right, you need to pat your back, and pat yourself, and say that you're doing a great job. It's commendable, because I know, leaving everything else, your routine, your lifestyle, and you're just sitting at home doing probably nothing. So
Right.
it's definitely not easy. I mean, I keep going into this, although I'm not going into depression, but I feel like, shit, what do I do now? Kind of a feeling. So the only advice that I could probably give is something that which I did not do, and something that probably is one thing that I regret during my phase of depression, is I did not talk to anyone about it. The best thing to do at this period is to talk, speak how you're feeling, what you're going through. And if you are going through an emotional phase, whatever it is, so if you're feeling low, down, whatever, talk about it to somebody who you think you can confide in, your friends, your family, anyone. But speak, talk about it, and don't worry about being judged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dimpy. That was really nice. It was great talking to you.
Do you have an inspiring story like this one? We would love to hear more. Share your journey on info@hoopsters.in or log on to www.hoopsters.in. Get a chance to be featured on HoopX TV and HoopX Talks.